Hi, my name is Shiloh Satterfield, and I am for this bill. My name is Shiloh Satterfield. I am a senior at Dripping Springs High School. I am currently 18 years old. However, I was just 10 years old when I first realized the privacy issue in my school district and felt the need to speak up. Even then, I felt the relevancy of this situation, not just to me, but to the girls around me. So my father took me to the Texas Capitol, where I testified, petitioning for the safety and privacy in women's restrooms. And yet here I am, 8 years later, still fighting for the exact same thing. At 10, the issue seemed very simple. The idea of a biological man in women's restrooms and locker rooms made me uncomfortable. I told legislators that I wouldn't even feel comfortable with my own brother, the closest boy to me at the time, walking into the restroom while I was showering with a curtain in between us. The same thing can be said for a bathroom stall. So how could it make sense for a grown man, a complete stranger, to be allowed into a space meant to protect women? I believed that if something was so clearly a violation of women's safety and privacy, the law was there to fix it. But now, as I stand here on the verge of graduating high school, Texas still has no law protecting women and young girls in bathrooms, showers, and locker rooms. 8 years later, and my fight still isn't over. The truth is, when I was younger, the idea of biological men being granted access into women's restrooms and safe spaces made me uneasy. Now, as someone arguably closer to having children than being one, the idea makes me angry. I feel outraged for the safety and privacy of women and girls, and terrified for the future that we're shaping for the next generation. The biology is simple. Although they may identify as female, transgender women are biologically, physiologically, and anatomically male. This isn't to say that transgender women do not deserve their own safe spaces. However, these spaces are not women's spaces. To say that they are not only impedes on the safety and privacy of biological women and girls, but also sets a dangerous and quite frankly offensive precedent that women's spaces are open for invasion and not worth protection. I think with the current political climate, it's easy to forget that just over 100 years ago, women didn't have a place in politics. They didn't have a voice, and they didn't have a vote. We just had to sit and pray and hope that our lawmakers' values aligned with ours, that we were being properly advocated for. Now, we don't have to hope. I can stand here today and plead with you to hear the voices that are telling you that they feel unsafe and uneasy and angry and scared. Because that's the blunt truth of it. Women and young girls will be uncomfortable, but more importantly, unsafe in a Texas without protection against biological men in women's safe spaces. To have a legislative system that lacks proper legislation protecting women is not only negating the years of work we've put into having a voice, but putting millions of young women and young girls into, quite frankly, dangerous situations that you have the power to prevent. SB 240, the Women's Privacy Act, gives women and young girls the protection that they are asking for, the protection that they need. To pass this bill will be to actively protect and advocate for the women of Texas. I urge you, with the support of Texas values and millions of Texans behind me, to pass this bill. As legislative representatives, I urge you to advocate for us, for the millions of women and little girls that will be put into uncomfortable and dangerous situations if this bill is not passed. Protect them. Advocate for them. Pass the Women's Privacy Act. The safety of our communities depend on it. Thank you.